do it. Let's do it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the day 2 after party. Why is Zito laughing already? I like to think that Vito gets my humor and cracks up at my jokes, but sometimes I think he's just laughing at me, not with me.
No, always with you, Steph.
Oh,
Always
okay,
with
good.
you.
Okay, good. We laugh together at Andrew.
Yes,
And that's
exactly,
what makes
exactly.
that's our bond. That's
Yeah.
our
That's
bond.
completely reasonable. I get that.
Yeah.
I get it.
Look who we got hanging out with us, guys.
Hello,
We got our
everyone.
pal Rob Cairns, Michelle Frechette, James Giroux. Oh shoot, we practiced this.
Giroux.
Everybody take a shot. That's the drinking game when I mess up a name.
All I have is chocolate.
And look whose name I have left,
Shoot,
but I'm
what's
gonna
on
nail
my-
this.
Yes,
It's
let's
Soren.
see how you do that.
Soren.
Nice.
Yes. That's
Close
good.
enough?
Yeah,
Well, how do
let's
you say it? How do you say it properly?
Sören.
Oh,
Soren.
Soren.
Yes.
Soren.
Sorry, you're telling me that I've been saying your name wrong for months now?
Apparently so.
Zurin.
Listen, he's
Okay.
the founder of CloudFest. He's a very patient man,
Right.
Just
Oh man, who let her in?
My
What's
dad.
happening? Hi, Josefa. I'm Stephanie. It's lovely to meet you.
Hello.
Hi.
I heard all this yelling and I was like, I don't know who's talking to me now.
That's just when it's me and Vito and Andrew, there's always yelling.
It's end of the day chaos.
Yeah, it's always chaos.
There's
We
no
have
better
Matt.
thing to do at the end of the day.
Just to clear it up, you've met me. I'm the shyest person in the world, right? I don't know what these people are even saying. Crazy.
Oh, well, now I have to tell everyone a wonderful story about our most recent meeting. Are
I
y'all ready?
guarantee you we've all heard it 17 times, but please tell
From
me.
they haven't.
Andrew, but it's probably completely different.
You're
I don't
right.
know
Yeah.
if you
from your
have.
side.
I don't know if you
Ooh,
have.
this
because I'm not
sounds
sure that it's
juicy.
important. No, I'm not sure it's important to Andrew in this way, but we met each other again at CloudFest this year, and he said, "Oh, Hayden, I've got some Haydens in my Bertha group." Now, I did not expect that sentence, and so I was like, "Oh, I'm sure you do. There are Haydens everywhere." And you're like, "Yeah, but no, there are Chompo C's as well." And I was like, "Well, okay." And I didn't know what you were talking about. I thought you said birther group, like people who don't believe.
He does say that. He
Oh,
does
right.
call it
and I was
birther.
like,
That's the English
I was like,
accent
I'm not
that comes
proud
out.
of that. But as soon as I figured out what we were talking about, I was like, yes, that's my mom.
Hey,
My
Andrew's a midwife. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah,
I
Josefa's
was
mum
very
loves
confused.
Bertha, right? What are we saying? We're saying
That's the
pure
headline.
Bertha. Yeah.
She uses
So
Bertha almost every day.
Hey,
That is
exactly.
like
What-
I can't
what
even
are
tell you how
doing?
awesome that is. What does
That's
she
just-
do? What does she use it for?
Oh, she's a marketer, so she does copywriting and uses it for, like, I want to say initial outlines of topics that have been requested, so that she has some idea of how to, like, hone in the research. So
Amazing.
Perfect use case. Brilliant.
So cool.
I feel like I just crashed a party because it says, like, supercharge your recurring revenue, which I'm obviously not talking about.
Oh,
So-
hang on.
Oh.
Woo.
Switch that
It's
out.
because you deal.
Right, so I'll put this up so that we distract from the topic. We have our first headline of the evening here.
Accurate.
Accurate.
Uh,
Do you have a banner for this one?
I do. Just need to
I'll
find
let you find
among
it.
all of
This-
the other
I
ones.
love the way people with glasses have to look closer to the screen. It's just It's just weird.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's just too many screens.
Too many
I know.
screens, and they're bright. Aren't screens bright?
I put mine all in dark mode. Well, it's not right now, and you can tell. It's not in dark mode, and it shows. I'm gonna flip it into dark mode. It'll blink me out and back in again.
Really?
Well, there it goes.
Good one.
If not any blinks are in and out again. It chucked her out of the whole thing.
That's
There's
serious.
nothing like a tech person. I love it. So no, this is
wait.
the
We lost Steph. Steph, are you leading? Who is the leader of this session?
In charge around
Yeah,
here.
who's in charge, really?
I don't know
Nobody,
if you know this, but there's
clearly.
no worse place to be, no worse position to be in than to be a leader in a field of leaders, because
There
they
you
do
go.
not want to be led.
Exactly. Steph, you are now in charge. We're giving you control.
No, I
It's a
just said
takeover.
that's the least fun
It's an
spot.
after party takeover.
Actually, what are we doing here?
Yeah, let's are we expecting any other guests? Not that I'm dissatisfied with
straight in for sure.
this list. Yeah, let's talk about our day, everybody. Did you have a good day?
Great day.
I had a great day.
Yeah. What was your highlight?
I got to tell you
Anyone?
my highlight, and he's in the room, but I'm not going to embarrass him.
Oh.
And it's James Giroux. What he's got on offer is amazing. So, you know, I want all the WordPress world to know about what you know, Team WP and what can be sorted out there. So that was my highlight of the day. One of them was also joining a lounge, which I saw. You know, I joined a couple of lounges, and it was good fun today. And then being called into a call, which was good. And also, I travelled. I did 70 miles round trip in an hour because I needed to go and see a customer. Quite funny.
I was James's talk. What was your what was the thing? I think I missed what the offer was.
Team WP is basically a fractional.
James is right here. He can answer.
Yes.
I can. I can remember. I'm like, oh, what did I even talk about? It was such a blur. I've been working on it for forever. But
Oh, Andrew just left. He got
Andrew
mad.
was kicked out. Yeah, he was kicked out.
Don't be mad. Oh, you kicked him out, Vito?
He kicked himself out. He kicked himself from embarrassment.
Listen, we're the hostess with the mostesses. We're used to, again, too many people in charge.
James, go for it.
None at all.
no, I was just going to say it was called Rethinking Success, the Transformative Power of a People-First Culture in Your Agency.
Yeah.
It was a great chat.
Right.
Good talk.
Awesome.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun. It's been a journey, but it's been really, really cool to start talking about this stuff more publicly. It's stuff that I've been really passionate about for a while, just sort of on the sides and in different organizations and chats that I've had with people. But it's like anything, when you put yourself out there and sort of like plant a flag and say, hey, this is what I want to be known for, and then to have people respond to that is really cool. So yeah, this is really the first time I've done it in like a way where, you know, I wasn't one-on-one and people could actually like take it or leave it. So yeah, it was cool.
And they took it.
They took it. Yeah, I had great response. Had people messaging me on Twitter, just thanking me for it and saying they're going to pass it on to their HR teams and LinkedIn as well. So that's always weird. Somebody like the LinkedIn one, especially because I didn't post any like LinkedIn links or anything. So somebody literally had to hunt me down on LinkedIn in order to find me. So that was cool.
Awesome.
The power of having an unusual name.
Right.
That's important, really.
Although to be fair, there's a ton of us out there. If you Google
What are you trying
me,
to say? I'm the only one that hasn't got an unusual name. It's like, what are you trying to say? There you go.
There he goes, right there. That's it.
He's like, pick up
again.
So we also had a really interesting panel today that was around community. And Rob, you were part of that panel as well, right?
It sure was. It was such a great panel, and one of the reasons I've always said that I love this working with WordPress is the community and the people involved, and you know, from the top down. So like, thanks guys. It was such a pleasure to be on that panel. Great group.
Yeah, it was an amazing group of people. Everyone had so much. So look at all the sponsors out there, kind of paving the screen. I like that. That looks pretty good. Because I have like a
this
screen
is the
within a
wrong
screen.
layout for this video.
Yeah.
I'll fix it for you.
Yeah, this was, and Steph, you were actually leading this, right?
Yeah. Which I found out about 2 seconds before it started.
Well, it was on the schedule for at least 3 days.
Yeah, it was
At
for
least.
Andrew to host it.
That's okay. I thought that I had booked my speaking session in for Thursday at 1:00 instead of Wednesday, so I thought I had a whole extra day to prep and plan. And then I got the
Oh.
schedule and was like, "Oh, I'm speaking a day early. I guess I better
Oh,
get on that."
goodness.
So I had a lot of hustling to get everything ready to go. but-
That's
Why we do that.
terrifying.
We send calendar invites to everyone. It's so this. So Zoran, do you guys do that as well?
Calendar invites.
Because everyone is on site anyway at CloudFest, so it's not that they're
Yeah.
gonna be having lunch or answering emails.
That wasn't at my place.
Someone just raised her hand to claim it.
Yeah.
He already did.
He's going to have to sort a dog out. How lovely.
I think while we come
No,
back
but,
to
I mean, what I can tell you is the following. I mean, we had this 2 years with virtual conferences. You know, we love to do physical conferences.
yes,
CloudFest and NamesCon. It's like our bread and butter, you know, this is what our team briefs, you know, and we had a lot of learnings, you know, to organize virtual conferences in these 2 years. It's not easy. So, I mean, heads up to you, to Stephanie, to Andrew, and you, Vito. It's a tough job, you know, to make this like through 3.5 days. So it's cool to see that for sure.
We haven't met
Zoran,
yet.
which do you think is more stressful? Which do you think is more stressful, an in-person conference or a virtual conference to organize?
you did both.
I know that's right. He did both. That's what I'm asking.
It depends a little bit on the magnitude of things, you know, and but I would say the excitement level is definitely much higher with a physical conference.
Right.
Yeah.
So in any way, you know, and with a virtual conference, a lot of things can go wrong along the way. So it's not easy. It's not easy at all. So
The thing about the virtual conference, though, is that it's way easier to get a nap. That's what I appreciate. Also, I take no credit. Andrew and I are the dancing monkeys. Vito just puts us on stage, says, "Dance, monkeys."
Let's go for it.
He did all the hard work, him and his team. Yeah.
yeah, but
So, oh, go ahead.
yeah, no, but actually, what I wanted to say is one of the things what we will show you in a couple of minutes. You know, it's an example of what makes a physical conference different than a virtual conference.
Right.
And I have a story about that to tell, but let's leave it up.
Before you get to the story, I want to run this ad.
Join North America's cloud computing industry leaders at CloudFest USA 2023, May 31st through June 3rd in the heart of Austin, Texas. Register now, cloudfest.com/USA/web agencies.
All right. So,
Conference.
Zoran, you wanted to talk about the Lords of Uptime?
I don't know if you're ready for this.
I'm always ready. I'm always ready for the Lords.
Okay.
If you need another guitarist, I think we know one.
Right?
Yeah.
Where's the guitar? Yeah.
Andrew's waiting.
Bird's eye.
He's in
Yeah,
the-
bird's eye
He's in the
maple.
wings. He's ready.
No, I
I'm up.
mean,
I can actually sing, so shush.
okay. We need another singer. So anyway, the story started like this. So in 2017, GoDaddy bought a company called Host Europe in Europe, basically back then in UK and in Germany, and the CEO back then of GoDaddy is a very, very good drummer, you know. So he was at the M&A place, basically. He was, oh, you're already playing it?
So you could tell the story. I'm gonna put this a little bit in the background.
Okay,
To
cool.
intrigue what's gonna happen later.
Yes. Okay. So basically, Blake Irving, back then the former CEO of GoDaddy, he's a very good drummer, and he was doing it with a couple of other bands and so on. So I asked him, so why shouldn't we do an industry band, called Lots of Uptime? And he said yes, to my surprise. And this was the day when Lots of Uptime got born, and the whole idea was to get people together from the industry, all amateurs, all on different levels, working in the cloud service provider industry. So we had basically the former CEO of Jonas, the former CEO of OVH. Vito is in our band right now, as you can see here in the picture. Martin from Central Nick. So all people, within the industry. And the idea behind this was to find this bond between the attendees and the people on stage, because the people on stage are basically the attendees or some part of the attendees. And that was how this whole idea got started. And we will show the concert in a little bit, which we performed here at CloudFest 2023 in March, just a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, judge it yourself what you think about it. But I mean, we have a pretty good new lead guitar player called Vito Pilek. He's awesome.
It was so much fun. It was amazing because I haven't played in a band for like 7 years since I was actually touring. The last show that we had was like the biggest show that we had back then with the band, playing this festival. And at the end, after the show, the bass player quit, and then the whole thing just fell apart like how does it, like a tower of cards, right?
Deck of cards.
Deck of cards, right?
Like a house of cards.
A house of cards. That's the term. And so so it just all collapsed in like just very, very fast. And so since then I haven't played with a band until Soren told me about this and invited me to not to play but to audition. It was like, first I want to hear if you can actually do it. So I sent the track, and then he said, okay, you're the lead guitarist.
You're hired.
Yeah, and I had a blast. And then for this, because you guys were supporting the event, we decided we said, all right, let's try and edit this up quickly enough for the event. And in 40 minutes from now, this is going to be presented at the platform, or like at the summit. So if you want to watch a rock show for an hour, it's a great show. Some good songs are going to happen there. That's the after party for tonight.
Cool.
So what were the highlights of the day? So Stephanie, you're going to go around the group and say who the highlights were of the day? What's going on?
Too, but then everybody just wants to talk about their guitars today. I don't know what's going on around here. But Andrew already said his. What was your highlight of the day?
Well, the highlight was the panel that I was hosting, and I got super nervous at the beginning, so I made a few mistakes on the first couple of minutes.
You did,
and actually, Josefa threw me off there for a second, just a second before we went online. Rightfully so, you said.
As I do.
Threw me off completely. Just last minute. Don't say guys, and I was like, oh, you're right, I shouldn't say that. And then we went live, and then every time that I wanted to say something, that's the first thing that I wanted to say because you told me not to.
You do say guys a lot. Yeah,
I do say, I'm trying
for
to
what it's worth.
I'm trying to
it's not that anyone needs to defend themselves for defending others, but I would like to say that my sentence was not, don't say guys. My sentence was, I would like to request of all the panelists if we could avoid saying the word guys, especially since there are women in technology, which was longer, but still basically don't say guys. So I think you handled it pretty well. Everyone saw you trying, and that's what matters.
Everyone saw you. Participation trophy for Vito.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that now Vito has Josefa's voice in the back of his head
Yeah,
whenever he's
don't
about to
so
say
good.
that.
Don't say guys. It's in his own accent though. Don't say guys.
There you go.
Don't.
Uh,
It was good.
okay.
I listened to it. I
Yeah.
listened to that panel actually in my car on the way back. I was stuck on a thing called the M25 in the UK, which is a nuisance motorway. It's like a circle, and so I was thanking goodness that there was something that I could listen to in this traffic jam, and it was a good panel. It's tough to run a panel like that. It's a big one. Get everybody included. It's, that's one of the things that we've learned as presenters, right, Stephanie, that panels are hard.
They are hard. I do a panel podcast every single week. The timing of it is tricky. And I was pinging Andrew during that, and I was like, this needs to be a 2-hour session. Like, that was not that any of you guys would have wanted to sit there for 2 hours, but it was like there was so much potential, like there was so many amazing things being shared and said, and so much experience that we could all benefit from. It was just like, everybody in the chat was loving it. It was awesome.
It was good.
Michelle, did you have a highlight today? Were you at the talks? I know you were in the lounge. You're a hallway track kind of girl.
I'm a hallway track girl, especially when, I don't know if people know this, but like my primary duty this week was getting as many people to staff that networking lounge as possible. And we got a lot of people. There are very few hours that are actually on staff now. And so I started the day in there as the, I wanted to say the hallway monitor, but that's probably the wrong term, as the host of the networking lounge. And I was joined by Peter Ingersoll, who said, they're doing a panel on community right now. How come you're in here and not over there?
That's right.
Yeah.
Nobody asked me, but
she was walking the walk while we were talking the talk.
Well,
That's
you were
it.
busy. We can't take you away from your
No.
panel duties. That's it.
And here's the thing, like my voice is not the only voice about community, so it's great to hear other people talking about that, and I look forward to being able to listen to that session later. But I had a great conversation. Peter was the only one there, so he and I just like talked about a lot of things about contributing and what it looks like to contribute to the community, especially the WordPress open source community, and what onboarding looks like for people who kind of like are deer in the headlights when they start to come in. And so he and I talked about some ideas that maybe I'll be talking to Josefa about later, because we had some neat little ideas of how to encourage people when they first say, I want to do something, but I don't know what that is. So that was pretty cool. But can I also share that I did a soft launch of a really cool thing today while we were all talking about community?
Yes.
Sure.
I launched something called wpspeakers.com today. It's a soft launch. It's not out there like for total consumption, because I know that people are going to be like, there's a mistake on page 4. But it's a free speakers bureau, so to speak, for WordPress speakers. Because as you know, when you organize an event, whether it's a WordCamp, whether it's a meetup, or it's an adjacent type event, private event, it's so hard to find speakers about specific topics. So my goal was to create a tool for the community to be able to find people who are interested in sharing what they know about WordPress. And so this is my new gift. There's like 10 people in the database so far. Not bad considering I just launched it today though, right? So pretty cool.
Yeah, well, the annoying thing is that WS Form are a sponsor. Mark Westgard, he just gets himself all around the place. What's going on? What is
Bless that man. He got in there. He spent an hour coding in there for me today so that the display works like it's supposed to. Everything looks like it's supposed to.
He's such a freaking genius, that guy.
I can't stand him. I just cannot stand him anymore. He's like a sore on my foot.
I'm telling you, he's not watching right now, Andrew. So all of this is lost.
No fair. Rob, what was your top takeaway today?
2 things. One was the panel about the CMS, the one that Vito hosted, was a great panel. And the other one, and it always is with the summit, is the people involved, whether it's on the panels, the comments, us here in the after party, or in the networking lounge. It's the people. The people are just amazing, and they make this thing happen all the time. So
That's
It is
awesome.
fun.
Thank you very much,
Whenever
Rob.
we're hustling from session to session doing the hosting, and then rushing, Andrew and I particularly rushing away to take our nap, and then coming back for and it's like I sometimes don't get into the lounge as much as I would like to. And then I went and hung out with Rob and Devinder, and there's a bunch of other people there. Mark,
crazy.
Andrew was in there hanging out. It's like just such a completely different vibe too. Because it's like we're so on, and then you could just sort of like sit back and just have some laughs and chill out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we had a huge milestone today. We unlocked a new level in the history of the summit as we reached 10,000 attendees this morning. Actually,
Amazing.
thank you. The number that is right here above me is the number from this morning. Probably right now it's around 11K, at least I'm hoping.
Awesome.
Tomorrow morning we'll have a look again. But this was a personal achievement or a personal goal for me, not only for our event but for the community. One of the things that I feel really strongly about, because I love camps, and I really feel that this is something that our community is missing. And Zoran, you and I spoke about this as well. Why isn't there a 20,000 people event in our space? And so I decided to, 2 years ago, I decided to try and make that happen through our event and try to break that glass ceiling so that others can hopefully get inspired and do some similar things. So 10K is halfway there, and hopefully next year it's gonna be the 20.
You've been hyping up that 10K for
Yes.
a couple years now, and we did it. That's awesome.
Yeah, 10K. We gotta get to 10K. How do we do it? And we did a massive takeover of search engine journal this year, which was really cool. And really it was an awesome effort by more than 150 people that were involved in putting this event together. And I don't know if everyone's Twitter feed looks like mine. Probably not, but I can't see anything else. Just paved with purple.
Yeah. Zachary hit platform limits on Facebook and LinkedIn today.
I think
social media. Zach is
we got to give Zach a big shout out.
Why isn't he in the feed? Because Zach is
I don't know,
amazing. I mean, he was doing on the fly posting.
He was like, I got to order DoorDash. I can't leave my desk. He's like just wildly tweet. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there it is.
Why is he not on the feed? Get him in here.
You should come. Tomorrow we'll have him over for sure.
Tomorrow we'll have him in. He's great. He's a great guy.
But I wanted to do this, please.
Okay, so who else had Josefa, did you have a takeaway? I don't know if you had any time. I think you might be a busy lady. I don't know, but even something from your panel that you appreciated?
Yeah, so I didn't have a lot of time to join the event today. As you mentioned, I got stuff going on. Not that everybody else doesn't either, but you got like 10,000.
Mostly we just want to know who you think was the best host of the session.
I only saw one host, so I guess it's got to be Vijay.
I set the bar really low as well.
Yeah, he did. I was listening.
Yeah. So I think that one of the things that was so interesting about the panel that I was part of was we have so many people who have so many incredible skill sets, and we don't see them very often in the space. And so to have all of that particular set of people, and I know that there were at least two in there who were like, we are outclassed. It's people who built WordPress forever in here. And then we are at big companies with names you recognize. And so I feel like there were a couple of people in there who felt like they were a little outclassed, but also it was nice to get that kind of mixture of people in there, people who are full WordPress forever and people who are working with related CRMs and CMSs and just still kind of get that same information about like what this should mean to people who are running agencies, what this can mean to people who are extending the core of whatever open source project they've got going on. Like, it was just interesting to see the different perspectives. And so, yeah, I don't know if that was anybody else's favorite part. I always am looking for like the meta thread to the thing. And so I thought that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that
I
was
had a
awesome.
conversation.
I don't know what the HubSpot guy's name is, because I was
Greg.
driving, but I was listening. Greg. So Greg, what Greg said encapsulates really what everybody thinks about or feels about WordPress, right? So WordPress is amazing, and HubSpot have their own CMS, but they still want to work with WordPress, and they still want to include it because they kind of see the value of it. And what Google was saying, you know, I remember going to Serbia. I think Serbia was the first time that Google went, and it was an unbelievably big display, wasn't it? The Google one. Do I remember that right? And
yes, you remember that right.
I remember that right.
It was a big fuss.
And I probably spent 4 hours on that booth. Just, you know, what's going on? Where are we?
Yeah, everything is
You
great.
no longer are on here. This is a different group of people on here.
God, yeah, what's
There we
happening?
are. Now there's all the people.
This is too much.
Too much, right? Okay.
It's
It's
too
like
much.
Inception.
Stop.
It's just don't let Vito play with stuff. What's going on?
Oh my
There it
goodness.
I've corrected it. It's like, but that's what I mean is that Google obviously, you know, sponsorship at WordCamps are not inexpensive, let's say, and to have such a big stall was amazing. So that shows that they want to invest. And yes, okay, they've got money to invest, but why should they? They're Google. Yeah, were you anything to do with that, Josefa? Getting Google involved in WordPress? Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. That
Cool.
was probably a year-long effort, at least,
Wow.
to help get them in. And it wasn't because they don't want to support WordPress or because they didn't want to support WordPress. It was 100% because they knew that anything that you want to be able to do in a community like WordPress requires community permission. Like, they were aware of that. And so they had been talking to me for about a year, like, how can we get involved in the WordPress project because we care about the open web, because we care about making sure that we provide equitable access to tools and knowledge and success networks. Like, we're very aligned. How can we give you the support that we need and also not alienate the community? And it was a fight. Like, the community, when we first started talking about it, we're like, Josefa, you can't do this to us. This proves that you're just here to bring in corporate influence and destroy our ability to be WordPress. And like, it was a long time. It was a long time getting that in there. But interestingly enough, I also fought to get PayPal in there as a sponsor, and no one was upset about that one. I was like, PayPal and Google, it's all going to be fine. And everyone was like, this is how you destroy us. And then they were just upset about Google.
But PayPal were there as well, weren't they? At the same
Yes, they
event.
were.
That's what she
I
said.
remember that. Have they
I think
appeared at
also
any other
Amazon had a
WordCamps?
booth that year.
Yeah, that was a big.
For
That was
Amazon.
one of the. That was what made me fall in love with WordCamps. Really, Serbia. It was an amazingly big event, and then, you know, Berlin kind of did another thing, and of course, I sold my company at Berlin, so that's good. But you know,
Right.
WordCamp Europes are great, aren't they? They're just big.
Yeah.
Why is
fun.
that? Have we got more access to bigger venues, do you think, or what?
No, I don't think that's it. So we obviously have access to big venues in the United States as well.
I don't know if
In
you've
my
been in the United
experience,
States, we have some big things here.
in my experience, what makes especially WordCamp Europe, the reason that one seems to be on the cutting edge of what that type of event series will do and can do for WordPress is because they started kind of as like this upstart additional flagship event that was out to prove themselves.
All right.
And as part of that, they were kind of like not really inside the WordCamp structure at the time, and we kind of rebuilt and resized the WordCamp structure to fit multiple flagship events after it was proven that that was a really valuable kind of thing. It was going to bring the community together. It resulted in more community growing after those events had happened. And so like once it had been proven that that experiment was successful, we kind of had to retrofit the project to accommodate that concept. And so they always have had a little more freedom to kind of experiment on things because they are running into areas that are not the same as the areas that the US based flagship runs into, because we are just being run by the same people who've been around for 20 years. And so, yeah.
Did the guitar just bite it?
Yeah, just bit it. Yeah. $3.5 grand down the drain. Doesn't matter.
Oh, man.
Forget about the bird's eye maple.
I
That's
know.
done.
Forget about
Just,
it.
no, I want to continue on this. So is the US flagship events now going to be more Europe sizes, or are they just restricted in size?
No, I mean, they used to be Europe sizes, and then COVID happened, and now we're just COVID sizes for everyone. We basically are the size that your community will tolerate for COVID sizes right now. Yeah.
Got you.
If you want, I can answer the question from a third perspective.
I would love that.
Yeah. I think in the long run, regardless if the US community is bigger or the European community is bigger, to organize an event in Europe is just simply cheaper with a better quality, what you can achieve. So, and it's a very huge price difference. So you calculate basically what is the price per attendee. And the price per attendee in Europe is at least, even a worst case scenario, 1/3 cheaper than the production cost in the US.
Wow.
So
I remember hearing someone talking about the budgets for WordCamp Europe that was in Porto compared to San Diego, which had US WordCamp US, which had such a small crowd, and it was almost 10x the difference, and they had a tenth of the attendees.
Yes, and then in US, depending on where you make the conference, you have union workers and so on, and it's making it extremely complicated. There's no flexibility. There's no arrangement you can do really. So, and that puts the price simply up, So, and in Europe, so everyone is having a much better experience for a fraction of the money.
Okay.
I do also want to note, that you actually cannot do a one-to-one comparison in individual years across flagship events, because we ask all of our flagship events to do a very cheap, very middle, very high round of costs for cities, because some people use these travels as also like an opportunity to do a little tourism. And so we want to make sure that we catch all the price points available, but not all flagship events are running on the same cycle, which also is important. We don't just want to have every 3 years, no one can go to WordCamp because it's too expensive.
I remember that. Really want that. I remember early on in WordCamp Europe feeling that way, because there's like an east-west almost flip, right? Where Western Europe will get it for 1 year, and Eastern Europe, where cost of living and different things would make certain things more affordable. And I agree. I like that because, well, you also get to see more of Europe, right, when you go. Yeah. But the accessibility of it is quite nice as well.
Yeah. A lot of the things that are built into the WordPress program to make it more easy to access, more usable, more possible for people to do things that otherwise they wouldn't be able to, you kind of can't see because it happens somewhere else and no one is interested in it. they just want to know how to use WordPress. And so
well, that's true, but also CloudFest is a fixed location in Europe, so you must still have some negotiation power with the resort that you have.
Not only then, when you have a residency like this for so many years, Zoran, I imagine that you have the ability, you have flexibility from the venue to do all kinds of experimentations and crazy stuff that you can't do if you need to prove yourself every time with a new venue. Do you feel that this is something that you guys are seeing there as well?
Yes, definitely. I mean, over the year it developed, it was not from one day to the other. Right. This is a progress of 12 years. We are by far the largest external event of Europa Park.
Right.
And Europa Park is bigger than Disneyland in Paris, so.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I know, we walked around it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But basically we are 5% of an external event revenue of Europa Park, and that gives us obviously a lot of power. But at the end, it's not so much about the price. It's more about the possibilities you get. For example, like Vito, what we did with you, the roller coaster pitch.
I'm actually looking for it right now to try and bring this up.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, that is crazy, and that is like basically playing with environment and the surrounding that you have. So we had the startup competition contest, and I mean, here Vito, he has exactly 55 seconds to make a real elevator pitch going all his way up. It's actually the fastest roller coaster in Europe. It has like 3.6 Gs or something.
It was amazing.
That was your glasses.
My first time in 20 years or so on a roller coaster. And I was asking the guy, so what's going to happen? And he's like, and the guy that is in front of me, he's holding a GoPro duct tape to his hand. And I asked him, so what's going to happen here? He's like, I don't know. You're the first person to ever do it. Okay.
But that's exactly like what I mean with playing with the environment,
Collaboration that works together. So looks like I ran out of time, and it's happening now. Oh my God! Whoa! Get this up. Woo! Amazing. Thank you, Cloudfest.
You can't not smile watching that. It's so funny.
It's hilarious.
I mean, that was at least a happy one. Like, I watched some of those interviews of like actors doing interviews while on there, and the actor just like passed out, and so they just got her name and then didn't show the rest of the interview, and at the end they're like, so how can we watch your show? And she told them, and so it's just like, this is my name, I hate roller coasters, but I would watch the show. And she got up.
I would have died. It's as simple as that. I would not be there. It was just like, it would be the end of AP. Vito said, are you doing it? I went, no.
Brilliant.
I'm just going to keep plowing through here. James, did you have a key takeaway today?
Oh, well, my key takeaway was Zach and all of his great work on social.
Aww.
It just was one of those things where you don't think about it until you're in the middle of your talk. And then I finish my talk and I go on Twitter, as you do. And there's like Zach's tweets of like my quotes. And for those of you who don't know, I have for a few years, I worked for Envato, and Envato is not allowed to present at WordPress events. And so my choosing to work there meant I gave up any possibility of speaking at a WordCamp. So this event here is actually the first time I've been able to speak at a WordPress event in 8 years,
like 10
something
years.
like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
So, so I was always the guy that was quoting people and posting that to Twitter and doing all that kind of stuff as I would hear presenters at different work camps. And so to see my name and like somebody actually quoting me and getting value out of that and picking out these really cool things, I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. It made me feel appreciated. So yeah, that was my highlight. I know it's very selfish, but that was my takeaway.
It's a good highlight.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Boy, I didn't even realize that he exactly what he was doing. I knew he was super busy.
It's
but
like every
he's
2
put
minutes
quotes
there was a
on it.
new meme, you know.
Amazing.
He is amazing. It's just
He's
amazing.
in real time. He's creating these assets, and he's actually right now behind the scenes cropping this video to creating stories and stuff. And
Zach, so help me if you don't pick a good frame of me.
Right? I was like, we all look so normal right now. This is
I know.
great. I love it.
Should we do a pose for it?
yeah,
Everyone?
for Zach. But without Zoran. Let's wait for Zoran.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
I'm here.
He's
Yeah.
taken when you need him here.
Oh, dear. The one thing I got from this, again,
Andrew, hold up your
another
guitar.
thing,
I'm just
is
kidding.
laughing. I laughed a lot today. I really did. In the lounges, I was in the lounge. With Rob, we had a bit of a laugh, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. I always have a laugh with you. And it's all about that Westgard guy, too, by the way.
Oh. But it is fun. It's fun doing, and also doing and genuinely meeting these people that want to speak. They are absolutely honored to be invited to speak or to have been accepted. Because we invited some people and other people we just let apply. And, you know, it's a tough thing organizing an event like this. You know, there's tweets, isn't there, Josefa? There's people communicating with tweets. Do you want to come? There's little emails that go on. It's incredible how we connect with people and just get them to come on. It's a fantastic event. I love it. I love being involved in this. It's awesome. I got your poses.
Good job, Zach.
Yeah. So do I, Andrew, on that one. And you know, one of my pleasures has been the last couple of years is I've had the pleasure of sitting down with you guys and with Vito and getting him on the podcast ahead of time, and you know, before the event, talking about everything going on. It's kind of like one of my highlights pre-event. So
yeah,
that's awesome. And we did have one thing that was really cool. I think that was you, Steph. We were with Tom from Convesio, where
Andrew was with him.
Andrew, you did the session. He texted me this morning, and he told me, "Look, I have the presentation ready, the one I said that I'm gonna do, but I want to run through it in like 20 minutes and then do website teardowns from people in the chat." Like, okay, let's do that. And that was a blast. I was catching some of this there. Andrew,
but we only had time to do 4. There were, and that's what the chat does. We need to get people engaged more. And it's also, you know, as soon as somebody asks a question, or if I ask a question or Steph asks a question, then other people are going to do that. And then as soon as somebody put a link in, we had 25 links to go through. That's just, you know, we're not going to have 3 hours to go through teardowns of 25 websites. So we had to restrict it to 5, I think. But yeah, Tom did a great job on that, and he was very kind.
Yeah.
People said
that was awesome that he did that live. That was really a cool thing. I had a couple takeaways. Thank you for asking. I think that John Falk had a line that I loved. It was a quote. Johnny Flash, you know, he said, he was talking about leadership, and he said that leaders should own failures and pass credit. And I thought that was great. I wrote that down on my magic yellow pad here. And
I love that.
I was like, that's really good. I love that. I'm gonna take that one with me. And then Matt Pugh with WHMCS PQRLT. I thought
before you say that, WHMCS. He was the founder of WHMCS.
Yes. And then Web Pros, they're part of Web Pros now. So I thought WHMCS was just like a little thing that my hosting company used. I had no idea. And I'm like, am I just like the only one? And he was like, no, we have a little bit of a hard time getting out there. And I'm like, only you knew some marketers. Only you knew some marketers, Matt. But I was like, I had no, I'm 100% like, this is going to be a new thing that I'm going to do for Focus WP, because we get people asking us all the time about hosting. And my partner Tom and I are like, yeah, no, we don't want to do support for hosting. We're not going to be on 24/7 support. And I was like, I did not realize that this was all like how all that worked, and that there are all these other tools built in, and it's just like for recurring revenue. So for me today, that talk really blew my mind. And that was like, this has been right under my nose and I didn't even realize it. So
it's been around for years, literally.
I know.
Years.
I know. It's not
more,
new.
More than a decade. It runs the web, for God's sake.
I know. I just didn't realize it did all that stuff, and that I could just interface with it and just bill clients with. Or do you use it, Andrew?
I do.
What? Why didn't you tell me about this?
Because it's my little secret.
In case no one has told anyone yet, one of the things that WordPress is the worst about is marketing itself. And that goes all the way down to its extenders. Like WordPress, and also everyone who extends WordPress, we're just like, use my stuff, it's great. I think that did it. I think everyone knows. Like we're all like
That's it. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
But I think on a serious note on that, I think because there is so much, because we have the repository, we have Envato, we have web people that sell layouts and plugins, separate plugins, totally commercial plugins without being on the repository. There is just so much. So you can say, use my stuff. Okay. Oh, I forgot. And I used the other one. Maybe it was that one. Was it that one? And that's the thing. So we've got to get better at making sure that people know which our stuff is. And, similarities of names. And also there are very, very large commercial companies out there that own plugins, and they buy a lot of plugins, and they have massive marketing budgets that are bigger than ours. So that's what we're fighting against as well. And that goes for all markets, not just for WordPress, but WordPress have got some really quite big players out there with loads of cash. And, with all the acquisitions in hosting that are buying plugins, with a particular company that owns about 30 plugins, and they all market them at the same time. How does somebody that comes up with this genius plugin idea market that plugin?
Community.
Other than WordCamp.
Community. I can tell you honestly, I'm doing it right now. I started something 2 months ago. And when I look at the amount of exposure and goodwill that I've been able to get because of the connections that I've built in this community, I could not have done this 10 years ago. It is so incredible what this community is capable of doing when good people get behind it.
James, I get it, and I love what you're doing. I do. We've had an hour's conversation about that. But you've also had that. You've built up your reputation throughout the WordPress community, right? So you're a personality, so you've got that. Like Vito, you couldn't honestly, there are people on here that have got, Vito was omnipresent for 3 years with WP Feedback, and then Atarim and everything. And there are people that are capable of marketing. I'm not saying that, but there's a guy, Sean Barton, absolute genius, loads of plugins, gives away his plugins for free, doesn't even think about charging for them. He's got one plugin that I now own, 60,000 downloads, and it's built into a particular page builder, but people are still downloading this one because it's better. But he doesn't want to market it. He doesn't want to monetize it. He's completely WordPress, and he just wants he wants just to help people. And that's
I think it's coming from the point of view of most of the community are technicians. The technicians, they're not by design, or the skill set is not of business people. It's just people that like to build stuff, whether it's on the front or the back end, and that's totally cool. There's a space for all of this. But if you want to run a business, you probably need to learn some business skills.
Well, one of the things that Yoast was, he was interviewed by a VC guy, and he said, well, I just built WP SEO, didn't care about it. And then it was Marika that said, you got 1 million downloads now. This is taking up too much of your time. You either quit doing it or quit your job and you monetize this thing. So he built the Yoast video SEO thing and put it on as a premium and said, right, this is going to cost $99 a year. And he said, if I make $100,000 out of this in the first year, then I've justified leaving my job, and I can totally justify. He made $100,000 in the first week, So there are was that luck or was it marketing or whatever? But he'd already had 1 million.
He already had it. Yes,
yeah.
He was already doing
so,
the work.
That's the things. But do we necessarily? I've got 7 free plugins out there, absolutely 100% free. Bertha is free basically at the source. If you want other things, you can do premium. I love the fact that people are using these plugins for free. Atarim is free. You can use Atarim all day long for free, and I think that's because we've got WordPress in our DNA and the open source in our DNA to say, yeah, you can use this for free. But, if you want us to support you, please give us, $5 or something, because it takes money to support.
Charge more, but it's worth it.
But yeah, you know what I mean. But it's just we have the executive director of WordPress in the room. I don't want to talk about money, really. It's a dirty word.
No, we actually, Josefa, you made that.
Hang on a second.
Yes,
WordPress is very pro business and very pro people getting their money. Like, you gotta eat. We're not pretending that that's not true. I actually did. I did point this out in the panel that I was in.
Yeah, you did.
This morning, my morning. Like, I know that there's this feeling of like, you can't make money. You can't build a business on top of something that's got the word free in it. But, free open source software is about freedom type of free, not zero money kind of free. It just happens to be the case also that WordPress is zero type of money.
The thing is about open source is that if you are, who said it in a panel, I think they said if there was if somebody buys a plugin, puts the price up, puts in some I think it was in one of the panels that I was running on, I don't know. But anyway, if they make it too expensive, the wonder of open source is that somebody else can just actually make that again and just make it open source again, make it free again. And that's it was in the investments why VCs weren't interested in investing in a WordPress business, because it's a bit open source. And VCs don't know you're selling this for free. This is free, and you've got 1 million users, and you don't know how to contact them, and you don't know how to monetize it. So that's why VCs don't really necessarily invest. But anyone can go out there, fork a plugin, fork WordPress.
Sorry, I'm going to stop you here. Can you take that comment down? Take that comment down. We don't need to be personally attacking people in comments. Sorry.
What? In what way?
Thank you.
Was somebody being attacked?
No, it was just not something we need to be known for.
I don't see anything offensive in this one specifically, but that's cool. This is off. So with this, we're actually running out of time. So there is something that is happening on the platform right now that I'd like to show you all. So really, what happens at this time is that we're gonna switch on
Summit
Party
After
mode.
Dark.
Oh yeah, party mode is on, and if you're gonna refresh right now, you're gonna see that this is what's happening in the platform. I don't know if it's going through everywhere, but there's a party going on inside the platform right now, and we're gonna start.
That's so cute.
We're gonna wrap up this session and then go over to the Lords of Uptime, and let's watch a rock show together. You can do that over on the live area, and this will wrap up today. Tomorrow, there's a bunch of amazing sessions and parties and all kinds of really cool stuff that are happening, including a bunch of awesome panels and really beautiful people all around. So come in and join us tomorrow. The event is totally free, so you can still join if you haven't so far. Just go to atarim.io/summit. And now we're going to wrap up this session, and we're going to hit play on Lords of Uptime.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
See you tomorrow. Well,
Thank
Bye.
you. See you tomorrow.
Hello,
Bye bye.
everyone is- Wait, where's
Yes.
everyone? Oh,
There we are. Bye, everybody.
we're still here. It's
I
so
know.
awkward now. I thought we already said goodbye.
I
Rock
thought
and
we'd already
roll.
said goodbye.
Rock
Long
and roll.
goodbyes.
rock and
Rock